shot by Buddha. Facebook Gaming in the building.
Into the end zone! Five Nations, stand up!
Where does Jeffrey Simmons rank as an all-time Titan? Just got the 3-year extension, $35 million a year, $100 million guaranteed. And I hate to say it, y'all, but undefeated. In the crystal ball, I told y'all, Peter Skoronski, Jeffrey Simmons, gonna get extended. Titans spent all kind of money, made all kind of moves, moved around a lot of contracts, and by the end of this off season, after post draft, with the moves they made on June 1st, 2 moves left to be made, and Jeffrey Simmons was one of them. Getting the money extended, taking care of your best player, the player that does the most in the community, the most important player in the locker room right now, is Jeffrey Simmons, a player that came in arguably the greatest draft class in franchise history, one of the best, if not the best, interior defensive lineman in the NFL. And now, with all the changes, maybe at this stage in his career, they can get back to where they was when him and AJ came in a year where they went to the AFC title game. That's a lot to ask for, but if ever there was a Tennessee Titan, a franchise that has been known to make some blunders re-signing players, from Derrick Henry to Steve McNair, Javon Curse, a lot of people that should have been lifetime Titans that walked. Kevin Byard is another one I could think of recently, but definitely if ever there was a player that you was going to pay what his value is worth to the team, getting Jeffrey Simmons extended and now Peter Skoronski getting extended is probably the smart moves. With the Titans still, even after all the moves they made, was at the top of the league in free cap space, which was a masterclass by Mike Bergonzi. And for what anybody wants to say about Chad Brinker, what he actually did on his way out, redeemed himself to me, with getting all the contracts back right, and getting this roster and this team stabilized to move into the future before before stepping out. He's up there, probably the best in the game. Titans got to get it together. But yeah, we're not gonna push too far into that, because the season's gonna be what the season's gonna be. But all time, the first people that pop in my head defensively, obviously the freak Javon Curse, Mr. Monday Night, Keith Bullock, Jarrell Casey. You start thinking about guys like that in the Titans era. Obviously Kevin Byard, Samari Rolle. You would think of some of the better Tennessee Titans. Harold Landry, Derek Morgan. You think about Thornton. You just think about some of the Blaine Bishop. You just think about some of the focal points, and Jeffrey Simmons has got a chance to go down as arguably the best defender in franchise history. Yeah, I'm not live on Kick. Something happened with the dashboard. I tried for about 10 minutes and I could not get logged in, and it's kind of late already, so I was like, let me go ahead and make sure that we get this in, because it's not every day you actually have a topic to actually shop talk on when it comes to the Tennessee Titans in the offseason. As I've said this summer, I'm not going to keep going live or regurgitating what happened in practice every day. I don't think that's important. But a conversation like this, I do think is important. I already dropped a reel on it just to kind of get people's thoughts early before I went live with it. But huge contract, biggest defensive tackle contract in NFL history. I think it couldn't happen to a more deserving player. And I think when you think about what this means for the franchise and what this means for Jeff Simmons, a player who came into the league, he fell in the draft, because of some off the field issues that he had that got cleared up. And there's a lot of the fan base that look at him the same way that when Tavondre Sweat came in, or some of the players that fell in the draft in recent years. And you think, is this guy gonna, did we get a steal, or do we get a top 10 talent that fell? Or, you know, is this guy's character issues gonna come back to bite him? And this guy is like probably the poster child for somebody who came into the league like that, who removed the doubt pretty quickly. When you talk about what he does in the community with his foundation, always being up for Walter Payton Man of the Year, does a lot in the community, means a lot to the franchise. And over the last, 5 years, you think about in this decline that the Tennessee Titans have had since being the number 1 seed and losing to the Bengals in that home game. You just think since that time, Jeffrey Simmons is probably the only player outside of like the end of Derrick Henry's run here of who on the field jumps off the page when you're watching him. Like, who's going to be that player on Madden that has a X factor, a superstar trait? And Jeffrey Simmons is the only one you could think of, like offense and defense. And I'm just glad that he wasn't another Titan that I get to watch go to the Ravens or the Eagles. The Tennessee Titans have this thing where they love sending their best players to the Eagles and the Ravens at the end of their career. And I think right here, while he's in his prime, this could be the turning point in the franchise, that the Tennessee Titans finally have a homegrown talent that grew into a superstar. They got the attention of the league, that they didn't lose him for peanuts. Derrick Henry walked. AJ Brown basically traded him for Traylon Burks and a later round pick. We've been on the bad end of letting players go. AJ Brown went to 2 Super Bowls. D-Hop got traded mid-season for a bag of peanuts and wound up going to a Super Bowl. Derrick Henry, leaves the Titans. We get nothing back, and the guy runs for 1,900 yards the next season, 1,500 and 1,800 the next 2 seasons with the Baltimore Ravens. And you just get tired of seeing it. You've seen Javon Kearse leave. You see all these players, Derek Mason, Steve McNair, over the years, Chris Johnson, all our stars leave. And maybe this could be the turning point. We have a superstar player on the Titans that actually stays, and the franchise actually values him and puts some faith in him, that just like he pushed the franchise up when he first came into the league, that he'll be here to see this thing turn around and go from a team that went 3-14 in the previous season. So I'm happy for Jeff. Like, I think this is a big moment for the Tennessee Titans, like a full circle moment. Rabbit, what's up? World Cup. Yeah, World Cup is huge right now. Everybody's into the World Cup. She say Big Jeff is number 1. What does your list look like of all-time defensive Titans? Like, what is your list? I've seen some people make some top 10 Titan lists. And then the question becomes, like, do you add Oilers era players, or is we just talking Tennessee Titan era players? If we talking total franchise, and the game kind of changes, because I don't see a way where you don't put Warren Moon in your top 10. If we're talking about all time, things can kind of get out of hand and can change. But I say if we just talking Titans era, like, I would say he surpassed Jarrell Casey, and that's saying a lot. And then Javon Kearse, I think if Big Jeff finishes his career and like plays a full decade as a Titan, like, I think he'll go down as the number 1. Cliff, what's poppin', man? Nick. Usually is rabbit. Stat. Giannis to the Miami Heat. Giannis should have went to the Warriors a few years ago when he stayed loyal after winning that championship. He should have been gone. Because they had brought in Dame Dollar and then nothing ever happened with that. I think that when they got rid of Giroux. I'm talking modern day because I grew up in the Titans era. I never seen the Oilers play. Yeah, I think we're getting to that point. I think that's another part of the conversation to have. Like, with the new stadium, with the rebranding, with Cam Ward on offense, Jeffrey Simmons on defense, Robert Saleh, Brian Daboll, the new coaching staff, Chad Brinker is gone. That was the last of that era. Rand Carthon, John Robinson, Vrabel. Like we've moved on from that, right? Are we now in the era with the new uniforms to where we're saying we're broken off from the Oilers era to just say like everything that we've seen in Nashville since the Titans have left Houston, is that what we're now saying is the Titans? Like we love the alumni and we appreciate what the Oilers meant, because I was a fan of the Oilers before they moved to Nashville. I'm a little bit older, but I think we're getting to the point now where we're just saying just Titans era with this new uniform, and hopefully this team and this Cam Ward's rookie deal can make a solid run to where we can just close the chapter and say like this is the Titan era. You know, like I think that will be an important step as far as getting national notoriety for this team, getting the Titans back into the spotlight, you know, getting some primetime games, making the playoffs, winning the division. I think like that's some things they'll have to do again to where we can get back to just saying like this is the new Titans era. Seahawks ain't going back to back. Seahawks will be good. They ain't going back to back. Definitely should have went. The Warriors would have been 5 straight. I mean, imagine if Giannis would have went to the Warriors when Clay and Steph was still there with Dre. Like that would have been a mean little run. Yeah, it is kind of late. Abraham, what up? But that's gonna be an interesting thing to see. The new Titans. I feel like that's what this stadium, that's what this uniform, that's what this new coaching staff and this new roster represent. A chance for the Tennessee Titans to be the Tennessee Titans. Yes, we were the Oilers. Yes, we had the McNair era. Yes, we had the Eddie George. Yes, we had CJ2K. Yes, we had Vince Young. Yes, we had Kerry Collins. Yes, we had the Mariota experience. Yes, we had the Henry run and Tannehill, AJ Brown. But like, can we say like the new Titan era where like I think a lot of teams had to go through that before they got the prominence? You know, like the Seahawks got rid of the Russell Wilson era and the Pete Carroll era, and now they had their resurgence. Like I think sometimes you got to break away from what everybody was comfortable with and give something new to have a real resurgence. Didn't want the KD treatment. I don't know why. Like that's a thing, and I'm gonna say this, and this might sound crazy. Like that's a thing in culture. I'm not gonna just say specifically black culture, but I'm gonna say that's a thing in culture where people like, I don't want it easy, I want it tough, and then like 99% of people are like, I never have any help, nobody ever helps me. It's like, bro, if you got a chance to go on a team that's already good and save your wear and tear in your body and not have to play 45 minutes a night to barely make the playoffs and get flooded in the first round, go make it easy on yourself. Like nobody's giving you an extra cookie for making it hard on yourself, going up the rough side of the mountain. That is not what the new era is all about. Definitely got to set the culture and got to expect to win. Like you can't come into you can't come into the situation saying like, oh, like we're just gonna see how it pans out. Like they've made the investment. That's why I don't know if y'all seen my pod. Y'all have to go check that episode out of Shop Talk, where I said the Tennessee Titan fan base has to start to have higher expectations. Like you can't spend the most money in off season. You can't get a number 1 pick at quarterback. You can't go trade up twice in a draft and get 3 top 50 players in the draft and sign as many players as we sign, and then still talk about like, yeah, man, Cam Ward maybe can throw for 3,300 yards. Maybe we have 1,000-yard rusher. Maybe the defense can't. Nah, you spend all like this was a pretty good pod. If y'all didn't check it out, it's this one right here a month ago said Titans fans need to have higher expectations. That's the one. Like that episode is a really solid episode. But definitely you're right, Rabbit. You have to start having higher expectations, and not just the football team. People in life have to have higher expectations. Like you don't wake up in the morning, go to work, grind, exercise, pray, meditate, diet, do all that to say I'm still gonna be fat, still gonna be out of shape, I'm still gonna be hurting. You like, nah, you have to set a plan for yourself and have higher expectations. It's just say like, let's execute. And if we execute and things don't go our way, it won't be because we didn't believe in ourselves. Like there has to be some slight level of delusion, not completely delusional like most people are. You know what I'm saying? Not fanatical, but just enough to say like, hey, look, we believe in ourselves. We got a new staff. We get a new stadium. We got new jerseys. We got new players. Like we're going out there to compete. All 17 weeks, they need to be strapping it up as if they have the intention on winning every game they take the field on. Now, are you going to go 17-0? No. But reality is like you have to start going out there with more confidence. Because I mean, you got confident players. You got Cam Ward. You got Jeffrey Simmons. Like the leaders on offense and defense are people who expect to win. You can't go out there with the expectation of let's keep it close in the fourth quarter. Like, nah, you gotta go out there saying we finna punch them in the mouth and see what happens. Educated Southern Po Negro Pinky, man, appreciate that message on Father's Day, man. Happy Father's Day. Happy belated Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Hendricks, what's popping? Yeah, Nick, I mean, you have to have confidence, bro. Like just in life, you have like, it's like walking up and you're gonna greet a female and you don't think she's gonna talk to you. Like that's not how it works. You don't walk into a job saying like, maybe they'll hire me. Like, nah, I'm prepared. I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm prepared to win. I expect to win. Like that's how the Tennessee Titan fan base got to be. Because if you ask anybody right now, 9 times out of 10, people don't have high expectations for the Tennessee Titans. They're like, like can't be a bottom feeder forever, bro. Yeah, Giannis gone to the Heat. I mean, the NBA at this point, we expect this out of the NBA. Pretty much every offseason, we expect the NBA to start shaking players up. And Brown on the Celtics wants out, so I'm pretty sure that we're gonna see Jaylen Brown get traded at some point. He wants out. I think he sold his house, so don't be surprised if we see Jaylen Brown be on the move too as well. Nas, what's popping? So we're gonna take a look at Jeffrey Simmons. Oh, they didn't even got it set up right. Well, here it is. They do kind of got it set up. You can kind of see 20 million base, 23 million base. Got the signing bonus, got the restructure roster bonus. Hey, it must be nice to have a $500,000 roster bonus. But I mean, this is my thing though. Like when I have people that say, man, he ain't worth the money, Like, bro, if we paying Dan Moore $26 million this year and he's $39 million in dead cap, bro, I'm perfectly fine with Jeffrey Simmons making more money than Dan Moore. Like, I'm almost prefer that. I don't want Dan Moore to be the highest paid Titan on the team right now. Like, even though I believe that Dan Moore will have a better year this year than last year, but yeah, that's when people start like talking too much about positional value, and y'all seen people backtrack and decline on that conversation of positional value in the last few years. You pay your best player, and your best player is Jeffrey Simmons, and you give him the chicken. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't lose Jeffrey Simmons or have him sitting out or divide your locker room over whether or not you want. If you can blindly give Dan Moore $82 million, you can blindly give Jeffrey Simmons $100 million guaranteed. Like, you blindly can do that and feel confident.